Let's do Wisconsin and LSU. Rajiv, this is your team. You obviously have a couple guys out in this one through the portal, but the big one you mentioned before we got on here, Braelon Allen will not be playing in this one, so that is obviously hard for Badger fans to swallow. But the good news is LSU won't have their Heisman Trophy winner Jayden Daniels playing in this one, so that's big as well. Rajiv, what are some of your thoughts going into this Wisconsin LSU game?
Yeah, the one thing about Wisconsin is we always perform well in bowl games. We're a team that gets up for bowls, which I know, you can look back at history and think that's not a predictor of what's going to happen. And maybe it's not, but I do think Wisconsin always does well. We play well, we get up for it, and it's a big deal. And frankly, we have a pretty good record against the SEC because we play them almost every year. Jayden Daniels not being in the game is massive. Let's just be honest. They're also losing some receivers, so they're going to be down some weapons. The line, I think, started at like 13. Now it's 10 because of that. Wisconsin lost a lot too. Our top running back, Braelon Allen, our center, Tanner Mordecai, Chimere, Dike, one of our top wide receivers, another contributing receiver, Skylar Bell, defensive guys, defensive lineman, Rodis Johnson, middle linebacker, Jordan Turner. So we lost guys in the portal into the NFL. But what that allows is young guys who, frankly, me and some of the other guys that do our podcast will have wanted to see. Guys like Christian Allegro and middle linebacker and guys that I think are really going to play. Tretch Kakahuna, really good recruit coming out of Vegas at wide receiver. So I think Wisconsin is going to have a very tough game. You're playing an SEC team. You're playing LSU. This is not going to be easy. We've had a very, very up and down year. It's finished 7-5, Luke Fickell's first season, and we had two horrible losses to Northwestern Indiana, two losses that I never want to think about again. But if you take those out, there were some positives to look at. Our defense got progressively better throughout the year. Once the first drive goes away, we actually were able to stop even Ohio State from scoring big points again after that. We didn't get a chance to play Michigan and beat Michigan, but no, I'm just kidding. That would never happen. But yeah,
it's Camp Randall, you never know.
You never know. It's going to be a really, really tough game. But I think Wisconsin is going to be up for it. And the young guys are going to want to prove themselves because we've got a decent, very good recruiting class coming in next year that I feel like these young guys got to take their opportunities now. And I think that's a big step. So yeah, going to be a very tough game. I'm not going to lie and say we're going to win by 30. That's not going to happen. This is going to be a very difficult game. I frankly am one of the Badger fans that wanted to see us play this game. I like going up against SEC. I love being able to have those bragging rights games against that conference that, let's face it, we all hate so much. So yeah, very, very difficult. We lost a lot, but there's a lot to prove. And Mordecai's still there, our quarterback. He can really move with his feet. He's not the best deep ball passer with accuracy, which is an issue for us, which hopefully gets solved next year when he's gone. But he can really move with his feet. He can extend the plays, and he's a really good game manager.
Pauling is playing in this one, right?
Pauling is playing, yep.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Yes.
What I think is interesting is PFF actually has Wisconsin with a far better defense than LSU. Now, obviously,
I don't
LSU's
think that's
defense,
surprising at all. LSU's defense has been bad this year.
Right.
They're not good.
It's not been great, but the margin of it itself, nearly 7 points, was surprising to me that it was that much. Now, obviously, SEC fans are going to say, "Oh, Big Ten West, whatever."
Straight to schedule is important there.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that because that is true. Like our defense did really get better throughout the year, but we played some pretty crap opponents. So that is something to take there. But yeah, their defense really hasn't been great. The thing is, our offense really hasn't been either.
Right. Well, and that's the point I was going to make is like you have a team with a bad defense going up against an offense that struggled this year, not all on their own accord, primarily because of injuries and not being able to get into rhythm. But I think Phil Longo is a very good offensive coordinator. He's had a season under his belt now to kind of get his guys together. I think we could see a lot of points in this game, and I think Wisconsin could very well surprise LSU. Jordan, what are some of your thoughts going into this game?
Yeah, so when I look at any of these bowl games that are like the non-playoff bowl games, we talk about this a lot on the Eyes on Big podcast. It comes a lot down to want to, like which of these teams want to be there. And I think Wisconsin's going to want to be there. I think Luke Fickell's going to have, like you said, a lot of young guys are going to have to play because of what you've seen go out. And young guys are going to want to show out so they have a spot for next year. LSU is losing all these guys. Daniels isn't playing. I doubt Neighbors plays. So I think the want to is definitely going to be on Wisconsin's side. The question that I have for Wisconsin is, can we see the consistency from this offense that we saw at times? But again, it goes back to consistency. They look good for stretches, and then it's just like, wow, they have no identity again. And it's just that you have to get rid of those stretches where the offense just completely stalls because this LSU offense is going to score points. Like, it doesn't matter who's out there. They've got a great scheme with their offense. They're going to score points. So I need to see this Wisconsin offense get back into that good, consistent rhythm that we saw. And that, like you said, Mordecai got to use his legs a little bit. He's got to stay mobile and stay ahead of the chains. If they can do that, Wisconsin's going to be in this game down the stretch.
Yeah, because you mentioned consistency, and the two most experienced players in our offense is Braelon Allen and Chimere Dike, both of who are not playing in this game. So that plays a really big part in the consistency. And you're talking about backup running backs in Jackson Aker and Cade Yakimelli. You're talking about a different center and left tackle. There's a lot of moving pieces and transfer portal stuff in and out. So consistency is definitely going to be the key. You're right. And I just don't know what we're going to see.
I think we saw some good things from Aker, though, at times with all the injuries. I think he showed some good promise.
He runs hard. Look, he has fresh legs. He's barely even carried the ball here. So, but that comes with the fact that he can do that. And he has a motor on him. And yeah, there's still a lot of talent. And especially the wide receiver room, there's a lot of talent. The question
Will Pauling, what you talked about, Will Pauling's a good player.
Will Pauling is a fantastic slot receiver. He's really, really good. Bryson Green is a great talent that hasn't really had the year that we all expected, but he is someone that can still be a game-changing player.
My question for you, Rajiv, is what quarterback is better, Tanner Mordecai or Graham Mertz? Because Graham Mertz put up 35 on this LSU defense, okay?
Listen.
300-plus yards, 1 touchdown pass. 7 rushing yards. That's not exactly great. But still, 35 points for the Florida offense. I mean, come on, at a certain point, if Graham Mertz can do it, Tanner Mordecai can do it, right?
He can, and that's a fair point. Graham Mertz has a better offensive line and a better pass per offensive line than Wisconsin does. Graham Mertz is not the better quarterback. Graham Mertz is just a thorn in all of our sides. He struggled so much, and let's be honest. If Longo was his offensive coordinator and Fickell was his coach, I think he would have been successful in this offense. Had he stayed and not gone to Florida, I think he would have had a pretty good year. You could argue, yes, he's a better quarterback, but I'm just not going to say that. I'm going to say Tanner Mordecai, who, by the way, had 70 touchdowns at SMU before he came to the Big Ten. He had really big numbers. He had NFL aspirations, and I don't think that's necessarily going to come to fruition. Obviously, he's playing in this game because he wants to show out one more time. But, yeah, Mordecai is still the better quarterback, only because I'm not going to say that Mertz is the better quarterback.
Pride comes before the fall, right?
Right. All right, Jordan, so we'll push it to you first. Who will win this game and why?
Man, it's tough. Like I said, I think the want to and the motivation is definitely on Wisconsin's side. And because of that, I think they're in this game late. I like taking Wisconsin plus the points on the gambling side of this. If anybody hasn't picked up, I'm a gambling guy. I like to play the gambling side of things.
I live in Las Vegas, so I hear you.
I like the point side of it, but at the end of the day, I just think this LSU team has too much talent, and I think they end up getting this win. But I do think this game is close, and if Wisconsin can force a couple turnovers in the second half of this game, watch out, because they can win this game. 100% they can win this game.
Yeah, for me, the big piece is going to be Ricardo Holman. Can Ricardo Holman make some of those plays that he's made this season? People don't realize he had a ton of interceptions this season. I think he had the most in the Big Ten. Am I right about that, Rajiv?
Yeah, and he wasn't even. He was like third team All Big Ten by the big. But yet he was also like All American. So I don't know what the Big Ten media were doing that.
I had him on my top 5 of like defensive player of the year power rankings at one point, and I had so many fans. Why is Ricardo Holman up there? He's not even that guy. It's like, dude, the guy has 5 interceptions on the season. He's leading the Big Ten. He's really, really good. Give him a break. But I think if that's going to happen, you're right, Jordan, that Wisconsin has to force turnovers. They have to get Garrett Nussmeier uncomfortable, make him try to run around and do too much, because at the end of the day, that's what Jayden Daniels had to do all season long. Was his defense just wasn't good enough. He had to win every single game for him. And if they can make Garrett Nussmeier make mistakes, that's how Wisconsin is going to win this game. I still, unfortunately, will take LSU because I'm just not sure that's going to happen. But it's kind of similar to the Michigan-Alabama thing. I'm like 55% LSU, but it would not shock me at all if Wisconsin comes up with this one. Okay, Rajiv, go and tell me why I'm wrong and why Wisconsin's going to win.
Yeah, I see, Jordan. I just picked your team to win the national championship, and I can't get a little love. What's going on?
Hey, I took you with the points. I took you with the points.
That's right. So first of all, I agree with you on the points. You always take Wisconsin in a bowl game with points because for some reason they underestimate us every year. And you're right about the 1-2. That's going to be a big deal. So 3 names on the defense. Ricardo Hallman is one of them. Hunter Wohler is another one, and Christian Allegro, our new sort of young linebacker who's super fast and frankly is just better than the other linebackers we have on our team. We don't really rush the passer all that great. That's the issue, I think, with getting Nussmeier moving a little bit. But I think ultimately he's not Jayden Daniels, and that's the reason we win the game. If Jayden Daniels is playing this game, I'm sorry, we're not winning. It's going to be a close one. And do I absolutely think Wisconsin wins? No. Am I going to pick Wisconsin? Absolutely, because I do think we have that want to. We do have enough game makers. The fact that our starting quarterback is playing, our defensive guys are playing. We lost a little bit on defense, but not big players. Offensively, though, we did lose some weapons. But look, Mordecai's going to have to use his legs, and Mordecai's going to have to hit his receivers, and we're going to have to open them up a little bit because we know LSU can be beaten down the field. If we can just get that done, which is a big if, I think Wisconsin does get it done. So I will pick Wisconsin to win a very close game. But yes, like Jordan said, if you're gambling, take the points. Wisconsin -10, +10, that's good.
Well, that crappy Florida State team beat them, who, they apparently can't beat anybody. So
they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve it.
Right.
Sorry. We won't get down that rabbit hole.
Right. Hey, thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.